Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how your impatience is what leads you to most of your downfall, if not all. And that downfall can be related to getting scammed into different types of quick career hacks and these courses that promise you that you'll be making $100,000 in 6 months if you just, stick to if you follow their course. Um, Trying to take some type of online course which promises you the same thing for the most part, except for these might be a little bit cheaper, but they promise you the same thing, how to break into tech in 3 months, 6 months, and make a bunch of money, but it's like um, we always fall for these get rich quick schemes, all right? So that's the topic for today. So let's get into it. All right, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, so you can know every time that we go live, and that you can, get all the. If you're new here, hit if you're if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Like the video, share the video, and of course, check out the Patreon so you can see all the additional content that I release just for you, just so that you can be able to have these strategies that I come up with, so that it can help you in your journey in your tech journey, whether you've been in here in the tech industry for a while, or whether you are trying to get into it. It's very strategic, right? There's no magic bullet. It's just different strategies that I've come up with that, like, as someone who has had a series of different jobs throughout the years, as well as interviewed tons and tons of people, the things that I've done and the things that I would like to see that people do that would interest me. Like, oh, I want to learn more about this person to see like what they're working on, what they're into, the different things that they do. Just ways to be creative, especially when this wasn't you didn't necessarily go to school for this. You don't have a computer science degree or whatever those type of computer degrees that they're coming out with now. So it's just different strategies. There's no promises, but from the people that I worked with and from what I've done, I've seen them work throughout my life, and from the different people who have tried them. All right, so definitely check out the Patreon, see all the benefits that's in there, as well as getting one-on-one coaching calls, all that good stuff. Right, but let's get into the topic. Right, impatience. Your impatience is your biggest downfall. Why is that? Why do you say that, Tech Coach Ralph? So the reason that I say that is that's how that's how, like, these people, I'm not gonna call them scammers because I do think they're providing you value into the content that they're teaching you. But the problem is you don't you don't necessarily choose it based on the content that they're teaching you. You choose it based on the amount of time that it takes to complete it, and the amount of money they promise you that you're going to make if you go with their program. Right? And then this is how they get you. Spoke about this on some live streams, right? They tell you, "Oh, if you don't get a job, we promise that we'll give you your money back." Right? But, that sounds good, so you don't really look into that promise, but then you find out that you might have to apply for like 5,000 jobs within a 12-month span, 400 jobs a month, right? And then constant not hearing back, getting rejected after rejection after rejection. How long are you going to do that for? Before now, you just totally disqualified to get your money back. You disqualified to get your $20,000 back that you paid for this boot camp, right? You join a Zoom call with a bunch of people, and so now look at it like this, right? You join the Zoom call with, let's say there's 30 people in this segment of the boot camp with you. So now you think that you guys are best buddies, you guys are best friends, and everything like that. But no, all of you guys are going for the same jobs, the same way as the previous 30 people in the boot camp are going for the same jobs, right? And the 30 people before that, however many there is. So it's just accelerated competition. You guys are not friends, right? Of course, the like, you let's say you end up getting a job and they're happy for you and stuff like that, but at the same time, they're like, "Man, what did they do that they got theirs that, I did the same exact thing that they did, and I don't have mine," right? But the problem is, the reason that you fall for, like, and I'll say any type of thing you fall for is because of impatience, right? If you were to embrace the suffering that it takes, the amount of time that it really takes to break through in whatever thing that you're trying to do. Jujitsu example, right? My professor says to get to the black belt level, it takes about 7 to 10 years, right? I'm on my third year, or yeah, about 3.5 years now, right? And I don't I don't think about that. I've seen so many people start and quit and think that they should have been promoted and all that stuff, right? And I'm like, I'm just looking at tomorrow, just looking at today. It doesn't matter because it's a long journey. The things that I normally fail at is the things that I expect to get done quickly. Let's take weight loss. Let's take weight loss for example, right? You start, you say, "Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds," right? So you run every day for the first week. Let's say a mile. Let's say 2 miles, whatever, right? I'm not a runner, so I can't even say, right? But let's say you run a mile, all right? And you go to the gym for about 30 minutes to an hour. And in the first week, let's say you don't lose anything. So now in the second week, right? And let's even throw in that you're eating right, right? In the second week, you lose a pound and you're like, "Oh, this isn't working." And now you go out to Dunkin' Donut or wherever, McDonald's, get some type of meal, and now you get home and you weigh yourself, and now you gain 3 pounds, right? Because you were impatient. You might have been on the brink of really seeing some change, right? A lot of times we quit right when we're on the brink of breaking through because we're impatient. But to me, that's how most of us get fooled, right? What do we want? Insert whatever you want here. When we want it, now, right? You don't play the slow game. You don't play the slow game. You want, like, they tell you 6 months, so you expect as soon as you're done with that 6 months, you're supposed to there should be a job lined up waiting for you. Just walk right in, but then you have to apply and you have no experience. And that resume that they made for you is crap. You're just behind the eight ball. And then you filter for entry level and you can't find entry level. And then you start complaining. How am I supposed to get experience if all the places they want you to already have experience? It's not fair. And you start complaining and crabbing and all that stuff, and then you start posting it on LinkedIn, the site that you're trying to get a job from. But at the same time, you'll defend whatever program you took, like your life depended on it. Because why? Because you paid $20,000 for it. That's what I've seen happening, right? You don't blame the people who fooled you into believing a lie. Oh, but it's not a lie because this one person said that they got a job in 6 months. They went from being a teacher to being some type of database administrator or something, right? They went from being a teacher to being a Linux administrator. They went from being a teacher to being a QA tester. I remember a conversation with someone, right, who was they were a teacher, and I think middle school level, and they quit. They quit their job as a teacher, went and did a boot camp, and then they're done with the boot camp and they're trying to apply to QA jobs, right? And nothing's biting. But then they get an offer, but the quote exactly is, they're offering me less than I was making as a teacher. Why is that? Like, how do you get into that situation? Because they told you, if you take this boot camp and you go to become a manual tester, then you could your starting salary should be around 70,000, right? But as I'm talking about this, I just thought about this right now, right? What would a manual tester salary be in California? I wouldn't be surprised in California if it's about 80,000, right? They have a way higher cost of living. But what if you're like in Arkansas or Alabama? What's going to be your starting salary as a QA tester, as a manual QA tester to be exact, right? Not an automated tester, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be super hard for you to go straight from a boot camp to being an automated tester, right? But let's say you're in like Arkansas, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, wherever the case may be, right? You don't have any experience. The resume the boot camp made for you, it only has your internship. They don't put any of your prior work history, because to them it's like, oh nope, that is totally unacceptable. Your resume is like half a page long. They don't put any of your prior education. They don't put nothing about you. They just put this copy and paste introduction. Say, I'm a detail oriented, quality minded person who knows how to write test cases, right? So how much money do you think you'd be starting off at in those like smaller areas? I'd say probably less than the teacher makes, right? But here's the gimmick, right? You're like, if you put the amount of money, if you're advertised the amount of money you'd be starting off with the pay in California, to somebody in California saying like, oh, you start off with $80,000, that might, it's like, oh, that's not that much. But to someone in maybe Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Indiana, wherever, right? Like those smaller areas, $80,000 sounds like a lot. But they're giving you the California. It's a genius play, right? And whose fault is that? Well, it's the boot camp's fault for lying to us. Nope. It's totally your fault. Because why is it okay? Why is it my fault, Tech Coach Ralph? Why is it my fault? How is them lying to me my fault? Because we are smart enough, right? We're smart enough. It's funny, right? The things that we really want, we'll go and do tons and tons of research on it, right? But you want to go into this field and you don't do any research on it. So what do I mean by that? Right. Let's take it like this, right? So let's say you're in Indiana, for instance, right? And you want to do this boot camp. They promise you that you're gonna make $80,000 a year, all that good stuff, right? And so now, do you sign up or do you do research? Because giving a salary range for the broader United States, they can be talking about salary in New York, salary in California, possibly Seattle. They, they're averaging in how much Netflix employees make, Amazon employees make, Microsoft employees make. So what if they use those starting salary ranges, right? Trust me, 99 times out of 100, you are not going to get your first job working for Netflix or Amazon or Microsoft or Google. 99 times out of 100 times, that's not going to happen. But they will put that one person who did get it, and that's who they're going to market. Like, oh, Steve got a job working at Google right out of our boot camp. And now you're going to be like, oh, maybe I can get a job working at one of these fan companies. Maybe I can get a job at Facebook. And then you apply. So now it's time to apply. So you apply to Google, you apply to Amazon, you apply to Microsoft, you apply to Apple, right? You apply to all of those places, and you don't even get a response. You're like, okay. So now let me go and start applying for remote positions, right? No responses, nothing, nada, nothing, right? Okay, let me start applying for more places, right? Nobody's responding. But you're sending that resume that they gave you, which has absolutely no experience on there. Just a little internship for 3 months that you did, right? Where the details of that internship doesn't put any value that you brought to any particular company. Like no, like there's nothing interesting about you that they want to talk to you about. But that plays into your impatience, right? Here's why you're impatient. Let's go back to, let's say you're in Indiana, right? What was stopping you from going on LinkedIn, searching for QA jobs in Indiana, right? In your area. What's stopping you? If you're in Alabama, what's stopping you from searching QA jobs? Is the $80,000 that they're advertising actually for a manual tester actually accurate for your location? Did you check Glassdoor? Some people put their, it's like, Glassdoor normally has a good idea of a salary range in a particular locale. Nope, but the recruiter told me that I can make $80,000 as a manual tester. So it's their fault. Nope, it's your fault. How much job search did you do before you accepted any position? I see so many people, oh, I want to get into cybersecurity. Oh, I want to get into coding. And then when they say coding, it's like, it's so broad. But because they heard somebody say coding, how I went from making $50,000 a year to making $200,000 a year in a year, right? Become a software developer. And then on your LinkedIn, all you have, like, for the next 2 years, you have open for work, open for work, open for work. And then you get mad at the recruiters, right? Those poor recruiters, you get mad at them, like, oh, they don't respond, and what are they doing? Like, look, I work with recruiters on a daily basis. Their work is hard. I would not want to be a recruiter whatsoever. The recruiters has two sides to deal with, right? They have to coordinate with the people who are actually conducting the interviews. They have to actually vet the clients, the potential, like, who's getting interviewed, the interviewees. They have to vet them. They have to get them ready for the interviews, all that good stuff, right? But then you guys want to, like, badmouth recruiters and all that type of stuff when, um, because now let's say you get rejected, right? Now it's them. They have to go and they have to go let you know that you got rejected. They have thousands and thousands of like, you've seen it on LinkedIn. People, like 500 people applying for the same job. It's rough, right? But The boot camp recruiter told me that I would get a job in 3 months. They said that they would make me a resume and they would help me prepare for interviews. 3 months. In 3 months, I could become a manual QA tester. In 6 months, I can become an automated tester. That's what they told me. And that's what I believe. No, I didn't go and do any research. No, I didn't go do any research. I didn't check what the salary range was in my area. I didn't check how many jobs were actually open in my area for that position. I didn't check the job requirements before I jumped into it. I paid $20,000 and I asked later. And now I can't find anything and I want to quit. They lied to me. Nope, you lied to yourself. You lied to yourself. And that's how it goes, right? We lie to ourselves because we want the easy way out. Somebody that I was talking to the other day, right? They went through the boot camp. They were boot camp, right? And they wanted to, so they've been applying for jobs, right? Applying and applying and applying. And I'm like, well, and I just like reached out to him, like, hey, like, I thought the boot camp that you went through, I can only imagine, like where you're at right now. Are you applying for jobs? Are you have any leads and everything? Like, oh my God, like so many rejections. I think about quitting. I'm like, you can't quit. You don't pay this much money. You don't got this far. Here's another way that we're impatient, right? So let's say you get this, say you go through whatever program you go through to learn a skill, right? And now you don't have the experience. You have the knowledge, but you don't have the experience, right? So what's the play? What you're going to do is you're going to apply and apply and apply for that particular position until there's no more jobs available, like to apply for. You're going to apply and apply and apply for every single position that's related to what you went to school for. Like, and then, like, let's say you don't get anything, right? So you don't think about, like, wait a second. If experience is my problem, is there another route I can go to get into a company that has the position that I want and then work from within? But I paid $20,000 for this boot camp, and they told me that I was going to get a position as an automated tester in 6 months. Take this course for 6 months, apply for 1 month, and I should have a position landed right then and there. So now you're not getting anything. So then you post, do any companies hiring entry level anymore? Yeah, we do. It's normally out of college though. But does that mean that if you're older, you can't get into a position you're transitioning to? Of course not. Of course you can get into it, right? It's but it's just the strategy is different. To me, it's easier if you have somebody who's fresh out of college, right? They're applying for and even out of college, like you still have some experience because you have to work on projects and stuff. I'll argue that is very theoretical knowledge and it's not very practical. But that person they have to get molded into how to be a productive employee, how to be a productive contributor. But you wait to a lot later in life because you were impatient. You wanted to do what you wanted to do when you were young, and it to feel good, to be happy. Which ultimately led to you being down the line. You're not happy. You would have been happier if you made smarter decisions early, but we're impatient. We want it now. We're fast and we're furious, right? It's about the long game. It's like looking at sports, right? What if in a football game, the only play they ran were the Hail Mary passes down the field, right? Instead of strategically short passes, short runs, a mid pass, a long pass, and work this play like that, work the strategy like that, right? It's every time you get out there, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. What do you think is going to happen? Interception after interception after interception, and that's what happens to you. You get intercepted. You're impatient. You fall for the get rich quick schemes. Which guess who gets rich on the get rich quick schemes? The schemers. You don't read the terms and conditions. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's just simple research. Just simple research. We'll spend countless hours researching the things that are meaningless to us, but the things that like we want to break into the tech field, right? But you don't do the adequate research. Here's how far your research goes, right? So sign up for a Discord. I want to get into coding. Well, what type of coding do you want to get into? No response. Now, you find some boot camp. They say, in order for us to give you the price, you have to call us or we have to call you. So get on a call. They tell you, they spend half an hour telling you everything that they're going to do for you, right? And then the last 30 seconds, and if you don't get a job, we'll give you a refund. You got to read the policy. And here's the price $20,000 for 3 months of education. Could have went to a community college for 2 years, right? But nope, they tell you 3 months, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna quit my job, and in 5 months, I'll be able to find a new job in this new field, making way, way, way more money. So we do it, and then 6 months, 7 months go down the line. Finish your boot camp. They forgot all about you. You're applying for job after job after job, and you cannot find anything. Just rejection after rejection, if they even take the time to respond to you. So what do you do then? You reach out to Tech Coach Ralph, and you're like, "Hey, I need some help." I'm like, "All right, how can I help you?" Well, I've been applying for jobs and I can't find anything. Like, all right, what did you do? Well, I went to this boot camp. This is my resume. I'm like, oh, that's your resume? Why? Like, if you were to receive your resume, would you want to interview yourself? Not really. Well, there goes your first problem, right? Your resume sucks. Cool. So yeah, do I have a strategy? Of course I do. But here's the issue, right? Now you get here and you're like, well, can you help me? I'm like, well, join like sure, join the Patreon. And then I never hear from you again. You know, maybe I should charge $20,000 as well, but I can't. That's just not in me because I didn't say, oh, this is you need to do like because I can't offer you a job, or I say, oh, if you do this exact thing right here, you're gonna land a job tomorrow. Then I never hear from you again because you were looking for that quick fix. You were impatient. So sometimes with our lives, like, we see drug addicts, right? And we're like, oh my God, they messed up their lives. But we act like that. Just in different aspects, right? We're addicted to that fast win, that quick and easy win. Like if you come to me early, right? Like before you make all these bad decisions, I'm like, oh, look, this is gonna be like it might take us a year and a half, right? Don't quit your day job. See, you want to work 6 hours a day, like thinking that people in tech work don't work long hours. Like it's not easy. If you're looking for easy, tech is not the place for you. See, those YouTube videos were saying, "Oh, this is my day at work. I'm just lounging, and I'm doing this. I work for like 2 hours a day, and then I go and I go to the pool or whatever." That's not the case. Do we have some good benefits? Yeah, we do. But you also have to work. See, but looking for that quick fix, you're an addict. You're an addict. You're an addict to an easy life, which you don't have, and you never will have. Life is not meant to be easy. It can get easier if you change your mindset, but it's not meant to be easy. But you're an addict. That's the bottom line. You're an addict to fall and forget rich quick schemes because whether you go to college or not, I don't care about college, right? To me, everything is an end. It's a means to an end, right? So like I just say you need to get the education. You need to be able to back up your stuff, right? Whatever you have on your resume, you have to be able to articulate it on the spot to whoever. I see every day. Oh, can anybody like does anybody have a connection to this company or that company? Can anybody give me a recommendation? Do not ask me for a recommendation whatsoever. You will not get my name associated with your name if I do not personally know you or work with you. But you can ask the people that I work with, right? Like the ones that I coach and mentor and everything like that. If I believe in you, every time I get a request coming my way, I forward it straight to you and say, hey, this is the person for the job. But that's because every person that I work with, they're in it, they're in the long game. Maybe this is rehab. Maybe working with me is rehab. I don't know. But we go to the bottom, like, and we work our way to the top. Like we will employ every single strategy available to get to where we want to be. We do not have the sense of entitlement. Nobody owes us anything. But we're addicts. That's the bottom line. We're impatient. We can't wait for victory. So we spend tons and tons of money. It's funny, right? So when you were when you got out of high school, you went to college and you spent tons and tons of money, racked up tons and tons of student loan debt on something that you didn't do any research on back then, right? And then fast forward, it's the same exact thing. You don't do any research. You just say, "Oh, somebody said tech. I want to get into tech. Let me go take. Oh, they said I can make $80,000 to $100,000 doing this. Let me do that." And no research, right? You just waste more money. You don't have a strategy. You don't reach out to anybody who can actually help you, who has no real financial benefit from it, right? Like I believe, like so. What do I mean by financial benefit, right? If put it like this, you should go and find yourself a mentor doing the things that you want to do, right? And pay them for it. Pay them to mentor you. Pay them to coach you. Whatever it is that they want, pay them for it. Don't quit your job. Don't quit your job to say, I'm going on this new adventure. And then 6 months, a year down the road, you're crying about it because it didn't work out as you planned. To me, you can like the amount of money you spend on these programs and stuff, you can pay a quarter of it by like reaching out to a mentor, finding a mentor. Finding a mentor. A mentor is not going to find you. Find a mentor, pay them for their time to guide you and coach you, and they can give you the strategy, right? But it's going to take time. But I don't know. Maybe you guys don't really care. Maybe you guys like falling for these get rich quick schemes. Maybe you like it. See, I play to win. Nothing matters to me. Nothing matters but the results. And if you don't have the results, then one, I'm not going to listen to you. But two, that's on you. Whatever results you don't have is totally on you because you didn't adequately plan. You wanted somebody to hold your hand and do it for you. And here, I'll tell you this, right? Everyone does for self. That's the bottom line. Everyone does for self. So the same 20, 30 friends you have in your boot camp, they're out there trying to get their job. They don't care nothing about you getting your job until they get theirs. So the choice is yours. You need to be more patient. You need to better strategize. You need to plan your life better. It goes way beyond work, but this is the technical channel. So I focus on the tech aspect of it, on the career aspect of it, but just look at your entire life and see how you fell for whatever get rich quick scheme. And rich doesn't only have to mean financially, right? The decisions that you make with who to be around, who to spend your time with, all of that is associated, right? Where if you're just a little more patient, you would have had tons and tons of success. You wouldn't be where you are now. But we're addicts. All right? So my message to you is don't be an addict. Go out there and be more patient. Be more careful. Be more resourceful. So you can win. Nothing matters but the results. But maybe some other things matter to you. So anyhow, this has been another episode of Candid Conversations. I hope you found it informative and useful. And if you are tired of being impatient and losing, then reach out to me, right? Send me an email, right? Leave a comment. And I'll be sure to get back to you and we can figure it out together, right? But at the same time, pay your coaches, pay your mentors for dedicating that one-on-one time to you. Invest in yourself. Not in trying to get rich quick. Not in trying to win fast. Investing. Investing is not a get rich quick thing. It's the long game, right? Invest in the long game. Play to win. Nothing matters but the results. On that note, if you have not done so, if you got in this far and you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that I go live and I release new content that is targeted just for you to help you get better in everything that you do, right? And, like the video, share the video. And of course, if you haven't done so yet, also check out the Patreon where I offer exclusive content for my Patreon members, as well as you can get the opportunity to have one-on-one coaching sessions and one-on-one calls with me. So check it out and we can go from there, okay? So on that note, this has been another episode of Candid Conversations hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. And until next time, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.